recording. All right, so what are we doing here is we're going to take a look at a very simple bubble sort. So we have an array of data, we have a size. I'm not going to use a vector. If we start using vectors, we start doing easy stuff because there's a routine called, so you can just pass things very quickly. We could even pass this, but. All right, so here's our bubble sort. And here we're going to go through our data, 2 items at a time. It's okay, look at our data, look at item J, and compare it to, say, the next item underneath it, J plus 1. If this is wrong, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, if this is the case, I want this one on top. I want the smaller one on top. So I'll say swap dj, comma, d of j plus 1. Swap them. This is built into C. You can't do this in Java, but this is built into C++. There is a hack in Java that kind of makes this work with arrays, but it's kind of a hack. This works very nicely in C++, and my items will now be arranged. Now at n-1, it's because of this. If I go all the way up to n-1 here, what'll happen is this one always looks at the next one. So if I left it like this would go to the very last item, and this would say go to the last item and move over one more, but there is no more. So I have to stop early. So that's all this is doing, stopping early. And technically, we don't have to start. We don't have to go all the way to here. We don't have to go to the bottom each time. All right, so it's just a bubble sort, nothing fancy. And then I want to look at my data to see if it works. So I'll say display my array of data. Tell me how many items are there. And I love for loops. Look at item 0. Go all the way up to item n. I see that typo. I++. That should be a 0, not an O. And then we'll do something very simple. Cout. Show me the data item I. And we won't skip anything fancy here. We'll just end it right there. And then at the end, cout, skip a line. So it's nice. All right, so let's get an array here. Integer. We got some mooses, and we're going to, we don't know how many mooses we have yet, so we'll say we saw a 200-pound moose. We saw a 190-pound moose. We saw a 90-pound moose, and we saw a 300-pound moose. Yeah, we're working for some, I don't know, working for a zoo. So how many mooses did we see? Oh, I'm not going to count them. So I'll use our trick. I'll say figure out what the number of mooses. We'll call it NM for number of mooses. Number of mooses equal, in your array, how big is the moose array? Divided by the size of, it's filled with integers. So what's the size of an integer? It will this function, ask the compiler, you just built this moose for me. How big is the whole thing? It will give you the entire size of it in bytes. Next, I say, you know what? Chop it up into integers. So in this case, it'll end up with 4 integers. And this says don't change that number. This is a fixed number. Okay. I want to do something simple now. Display moose and my number of moose. And I'll put a return on the bottom, return 0, everything's okay. Build and run. And there it is. It simply displays our mooses. Let's sort our mooses using bubbles here. Notice how I'm consistent with my interface. Interface? Yeah, look at this. Moose and number. Moose and number. I didn't switch it up. Now, I want to make sure it's sorted because Bubbles is working. All right, Bubble. And bring this to life. And the largest one is going in the front. And there's my program. Okay, it works. I feel happy. But someone says, you know what? I don't like Bubbles going from high to low. I want low to high. So I have to come in here and flip this over. Flip. Compile and run. And there it is, low to high. By flipping this, I don't like doing that either. What? It's just a little piece of code. The problem with that piece of code, you're letting somebody inside Bubbles to change code. That's a very, very dangerous thing to do. So the next episode, I'm going to stop this video. We're going to change that.